welcome to another vlog. I'm Savalian, or Alyssa, and I'm a software dev slash creative. Today's video is going to be a vlog. Basically, I took this entire week off of work, and this wasn't this isn't why I took the time off work. I took the time off work because I needed time off work. But what I want to do is I want to go through this week as though indie game development is my primary occupation, and I want to see kind of what it feels like. I want to see how much I can get done. I don't want to work too hard. That's an important part of this thing, is that if I'm just working all day every day, that's not good either. It is vacation and I want to treat it like a vacation, but I want it to be kind of a fun working vacation, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm crazy and that doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but it makes sense to me. So basically, I'm just going to talk about how much time I'm spending each day, what I'm getting done, and it's just going to be kind of chill. So it's Monday morning. I woke up around 7:15-ish. I got ready for the day, brushed my teeth and stuff, fed all the animals. I fed Crowley. Well, actually, I haven't given him his snack yet. I took Crowley to the yard. I fed all the cats, and I fed my bird Victor, and now I'm sitting down with some leftover chicken and some tortilla chips for breakfast and a Mountain Dew because I'm out of coffee. More should be coming today, so maybe I'll have some coffee a little bit later if it arrives before like 3 p.m. and it's okay for me to have caffeine when it gets here, but just Mountain Dew for the morning, and of course my big water bottle. So what I'm gonna do is do like just a little chill morning. I like to do the Wordle every day, and then I'm gonna plan my day in my notebook like I usually do and get into whatever I decide to work on. But I think what I'll do first, once I get into game development, is I'll go through the game and I'll kind of talk about where it's at. It's good to get a baseline for where we're at so you guys can actually see the progress throughout the vlog. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're here in Unity where I'm building my game, and we're just gonna, whoops, I keep forgetting about that. So first thing that I could fix is this UI piece is built on the old UI system. The rest of it's built on the new one, and so this one was never set to scale properly. I've got to fix that. For now, I'll just keep it right there. But here's my game. It's an auto chess game if you're new, and the concept is that you play as this guardian creature, and you can summon units to protect. There's going to be a little town here. I haven't actually made it yet, but this is the field or the board where you put your units, and you can summon various units to protect the town. And so once this timer ticks down, we will go into the action phase. The AI is mostly complete, but I do think it needs some work, so that's one of the things I want to focus on this week. Like for example, they're not facing the right way, so there's a little bug there. The planning phase is also really short right now, just because it's in development. It will be much longer when it's a finished game. I also have this arena that is sort of arc-shaped because it was going to be a multiplayer game. I am pretty sure I'm going to cut that out for reasons I've talked about before, and I've discovered a little bug with resetting the game, so that's another thing I can work on today, but for now I'll just redo it. But this is the basic state of the game. AI is a little buggy. As you can see, this poor guy's gotten stuck here, and there's a lot of visual changes I want to make to lots of stuff to do. The UI is only half implemented at this point. You know, there's a lot of customization stuff that I want to get in. I want to work on getting the sort of starting screen, transitioning into the game screen, and then back. And that's a big piece that I haven't worked on yet. So we have plenty to do. Today, I want to focus on I have this idea, this concept of creatures having an element assigned to them. So right now I just have this really hacky detail menu where I can just click. I want it to be visually represented. I want it to actually affect their stats at runtime, which is kind of the idea is that if you have a team with certain elements, you can combine them in ways to give them extra abilities. So that's a big piece I want to work on today. And then also, as you saw, the AI needs some more testing. The behaviors don't always quite work out the way that they're supposed to. So that's another thing I'm going to work on today is adding testing around those behaviors. So I am going to get started. I have sort of used up about 20 minutes working on some vlogging stuff and just getting everything ready. So I'll probably extend my morning work time by like 30 minutes or so. And I'm just going to get going. Okay, after making my task list, I wrote down some time blocks for my day. The goal is to do 2 hours of game work, have some lunch, 2 more hours, do strength workout, and then here I think I'll either do some video editing or possibly some writing for Medium. I haven't decided yet. And then potentially I could have my whole evening just open. I'm gonna see how I feel. So that's the plan for today. Okay, check-in 1. It's been about 45 minutes. I've been getting a test sort of set up to test each unit's AI decisions. Sorry, the camera's having a hard time with the screen here. I've got the framework for this test, like the loop to add units in certain spots, test the behavior, and then make sure it's correct. So now I should be able to plow through a lot of these tests, hopefully, pretty quickly. I have my test results here, and then I have Spotify. I tried listening to a podcast, but it was too distracting, so I switched to my daily mix that is composed mostly of like game techno tracks. I'm just gonna stand up for a second, stretch my legs, don't want to sit too long. My standing desk only works on the work day job side of my desk. I don't have one for the other side, so just gonna stand up real quick and get right back into it. I added a test that tests all the error states for when the decision tree is improperly formatted, and I got a free 3% of test coverage from that. Kind of hacky. It doesn't really help me in the long run because I'm going to be making sure everything's formatted correctly, but it is code that I have in there and now it is tested. So we're up to 53% total. Not perfect, obviously, but it's better than the 40-ish% that I started at. And if I scroll down to the AI section here later after lunch, I'd like to get a lot of tests in for these other types of units, and I think that'll really bump me up in terms of how well I'm covering important game features and really allow me to nail down why the behaviors are so wonky sometimes and get that figured out. So I'm going to break for lunch. I'm not sure what I'll eat yet. Something quick, I think. And my coffee showed up, so I'm going to make some coffee too. And that's what I'm going to do next, lunchtime. While I ate lunch, I played Prison Architect and watched one of the Trial by Fieri videos by Griffin McElroy. Very good. And then I went right into a strength workout that was mostly rows and presses, so like a chest and back sort of workout. It was nice. After my little lunch and workout break, I got right back into test writing for my AI behaviors. It went really well. Lots of good bugs found. And afterward, I pretty much ended my quote work day, did some cleaning, and made some lentil curry for dinner. It was pretty tasty, but it needed rice, and I didn't make rice. I actually snuck in a little bit more game test writing because I was excited to put it behind me, but then after that I chilled and I played some Pokemon Arceus. Got a lot of those Pokemon research tasks done. It was really nice too. It's a super grindy game, but it's grindy in a nice way. I don't know if that makes sense to people who aren't me, but I just really like the gentle repetition and, hunting for things, completing a collection. It really satisfies a need I have deep in my soul. It's Tuesday morning. I'm gonna eat these tiny makeshift quesadillas for breakfast, have some Mountain Dew, do the Wordle, and I might chill for a little bit this morning. I woke up with a headache. I don't know, I'm just not feeling great. So I'll do my Wordle, eat my breakfast, and see how I'm feeling then. I'm feeling a little bit better. My headache's gone away a little bit. I think I'm gonna get into some game work. My plan is to finish the tests I was writing yesterday, get those all done, and then maybe the elemental connection stuff. That could be fun. I think that's kind of the big thing I still need to do. So I think getting started on it early in the week will be a good idea. I did a quick little planning session in my bullet journal and passion planner and realized I have a couple more AI tests to write, but then I did manage to get them done. Everything is pretty fully tested, and I'm ready to move on to the element system that I've been talking about for what it feels like ages. Okay, look at that, if you can see it in this bad recording of my computer screen. But over here, we have almost all of the AI system has been thoroughly tested. These are the unit actors, which I'm using to actually act on the decisions, and then the components just reflect that visually. So these are the sort of decision-making bits, and I'm feeling really good. I actually found several bugs. My enemy tank was doing a taunt when it was supposed to be doing an AoE. I fixed that. My ranged creature was not doing ranged attacks for its special attacks, so I fixed that as well. As we can see, all of my tests here are passing. I have a whole bunch more of them, and I'm feeling really good. So I'm gonna feed the cats, take the dog out. I can't decide if I want to have lunch or do a run first. I think I might do the run and just get it out of the way, and then have lunch, and then I can just kind of chill and not have to do a lot of, getting up and getting down the stairs too much for the rest of the day. So I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna take care of all these animals, go for a run on my treadmill, and then come back and I don't know if I'm feeling more game development. I really wanted to spend sort of a full-time amount of hours, but I'm just feeling so tired today, so we'll see how I feel. I know I felt the same way this morning, and then I got over it a little bit, but I'm feeling just really drowsy and kind of sleepy. We'll see. We'll see. I'll go do all of that and I'll see how I feel. My run went well. I'm doing a little challenge that I'll talk about in another video. Afterward, I had some ramen for lunch, which was delicious. And then I ordered some awesome coffee from the Awesome Coffee Club, which looks like a great club. Okay, it was really warm for a while, maybe from the hot ramen, and I just watched some YouTube and zoned out a little bit. And I feel like I want to get back into game development, so I'm gonna do that. I just keep getting distracted by the internet. So I'm making an effort right now. I'm gonna close YouTube, turn on some music, and tackle this elemental connection system that I think I mentioned. I'll show you when it's done, what it does and what it looks like. As a little bonus, I realized that Joe Stockdale was doing a co-working stream. I love these. I love Joe. It's very chill, so it was nice to have company while I worked. I got the main loop for the element calculations done for this system, but I was having trouble focusing, so I didn't quite get as far as I wanted. I really had to do some thinking about how I want the element system to work in order to determine the best way to calculate and save these values. So a lot of my time just went into thinking about what I was going to build, which is an important step in software development that a lot of people don't talk about as much, which is the design of your systems, the design of your algorithms or whatever. And so a lot of the time I had went into that. And so I pretty much just got this loop done and made a bunch of notes, and that was what I did this afternoon. I had a stream tonight, which was good. We played Prison Architect, and then afterward I did some knitting. Okay, it's Wednesday, and I'm actually feeling kind of sluggish today. My alarm went off at 7:30, and then got back in bed, slept till 8:15. It's about 9:30 now. I woke up and took care of all the animals, looked at Twitter a bit, and what I think I might do, and this kind of goes against my plan, but I think I might just play some games today. I think I might take this as a real vacation day and just chill. And this is actually, realistically, if I was doing game dev full time, I would need days like this. I would need days off. I would need days to just relax, and I think I'm going to do that. Maybe this afternoon I'll be in a different headspace and I'll want to get into some stuff, but no pressure. So there might not be a ton to record today because I don't want to bulk this up with like too much other stuff. So I haven't had breakfast yet. I brushed my teeth and did all that, and now I'm gonna make some coffee. Can't decide if I want to play Prison Architect or something else, so we'll figure that out. Prison Architect won, which is not a surprise. And around midday, I got a call back from a mold testing company. We have a lot of mold in our house, which we suspected, which is why we did the testing. And it sounds like it's going to be really expensive and really complicated to clean it out, it really made a hit on my mood. I was not feeling great after that, and I did not like the way that the person on the phone was sort of describing this process. It seemed really sketchy, so I put a bunch of calls out to other companies to see if we could get a second opinion on, the mold remediation process and maybe a less sketchy quote. So a lot of just my mental energy went into handling all this mold nonsense. Coming up on Saturday is my boyfriend and I's 12-year anniversary, so he got me a surprise gift, a MIDI keyboard, which I've been wanting for a little while now to work on my music stuff. So thank you, Tyler. I love it. Well, I've got a fun day ahead of me. Crowley's eating his breakfast. Don't mind the noises if you can hear them. We cleaned out the space leading down to the crawl space last night and realized that there is a bunch of mold down there. It's gonna be really expensive probably to fix this, and I'm really bummed about that. And then of course, we are probably not just fine breathing in this mold for who knows how long, so, and to clean it out, we're probably gonna have to figure out how to move all the pets out of the house for some period of time. Just generally not real happy with how yesterday shook out, but oh well. These are the things, as a homeowner that I have to deal with, and it sucks, and it's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend home ownership to people unless they just really have a lot of extra cash to burn, because everything has been so expensive. Okay, enough complaining. The mold person to do the inspection and give us a quote is coming at around 1, so I'm going to do a workout now and finish cleaning up. I'm not quite sure where they will need to access other than the attic and the crawl space, and so I've just been cleaning generally. the whole house. After that, I would like to get some game development work done. I feel kind of bad that this week got a little bit derailed, but this is life, you know? So I'm going to do that workout. Well, actually, I'm going to feed Victor first. I fed the cats, and Crowley is currently chowing down on a big bowl of food. So I just need to get Victor, change into some workout clothes, do my workout. It's leg day today, so lots of squats. After that, I'll be worked out for the day. I'll be nice and clean, and I'll be able to just sort of sit down, deal with the mold thing as it comes, and then stream tonight. Okay, I've just been sitting in my desk looking at YouTube videos, so I'm gonna write down my goals for the day, including preparing for mold inspection. Hopefully that doesn't ruin my whole rest of my day. I just wish this house would stop breaking for like 2 seconds. I'm gonna do a little bit of game dev today, stream tonight. What else? Gonna write that stuff down in here and start moving. The problem is sitting too long. Once I get up or I get the game editor open, then I can start moving. I just can't stop for too long, or this happens and then I've watched just YouTube and done nothing for several hours. So I'm stopping it here. Here we go. Action. The house was clean. The mold inspection actually was a positive thing. I thought this guy's pitch and the process for cleaning sounded a lot more reasonable. I won't have a quote till tomorrow morning, but I'm hoping that it's not too much because this company feels a lot better, a lot less sketchy than the other one. I spent some time working on a sparkle shader because I wanted to do something fun. It was really fun. It was a tutorial from Joyce over at Minions Art, who I love. I did spend way too long on this. I should have probably cut myself off and worked on something a little bit more integral to the game of the game, you know what I mean? But I had a lot of fun. I think it looks really nice. I have some tweaks I still want to make, but it looks lovely. Plan is to make this like an unlockable skin, kind of. Something fun and like a vanity item sort of thing. I did my stream, and then afterward I actually had a lot of energy to do development, so I decided to finish up the elemental connection calculations. I still need to do some tests for it, but I think I got it working. Basically, I iterate through the units, check each of their neighbors to update the connection power. If there are units on every grid square, this is less efficient than going through the grid one by one, but I don't think that's going to be a common situation, and there are never going to be enough units in the grid that it's really going to hurt performance, so I sort of weighed that and decided that for the sake of how I'm doing this, it's going to be better to do a slightly less efficient approach for these calculations. Right now I just have a printout of a log of what these elemental power connections are in the code, but it looks like it's working. I'll have to test this tomorrow and get something visual that shows the connections to the player. I still need to think about what I want that to look like, so for now it'll be something quick, probably temporary. Okay, it is Friday. I woke up around 8 today, which was about when I wanted to. I was kind of up a little bit late, so I didn't want to get up too early. I haven't written down any tasks, but I do know it's about 9 o'clock right now. I want to take a half hour to just have some nice breakfast. I've taken care of all the animals, so I don't have to do that. And then I want to do game work for 2 hours. I was looking at my week here, and it is just kind of, you know, it's interesting how life gets in the way of things. So like, I did pretty good on Monday, Tuesday. I got a lot done. I, worked several hours on my game, but then the mold situation, I was feeling kind of bad. Did a lot of cleaning again on Thursday. I spent a lot of the morning just sort of waiting for the mold inspection to happen, and it would Like, it would have been really hard for me to focus if I had sat down to do any work. But then last night, I was super productive. I just got like a burst of like game inspiration, so I sat down, I did some work. There are certain cycles to energy and motivation that are not really clear to me. They're not really clear. I just have to sort of see what happens, put myself in the best situation possible, and take advantage of those moments when they come up. So, I'm feeling all right. I am already starting to feel that Sunday feeling where I'm like, oh geez, the weekend's almost over, just because my whole week off kind of went by so fast. It went by so fast. So, we're on Friday. We are gonna have this breakfast. I'm just having some butter coffee. I put some cocoa powder in it to see if I could like make, because I ran out of those no added sugar hot chocolate mixes. So I just added some cocoa powder in the sugar-free syrup I like, and I'm gonna see how it tastes. It doesn't look bad. It does have the butter in it, so that will at least be good. But I'm gonna have my breakfast. I don't know if I'll play a game. I'll probably just watch YouTube and chill. And then I would really like to sort of finish the implementation of the elemental connections, at least like a rough draft of it, so I can move on and get into some other stuff. I'm excited to see that in action when I get there. So that will be the focus for today. There's a new Monster Factory out. Maybe one of my favorite YouTube series that exists. We're playing with Elden Ring today, which looks just wildly flexible. You could do anything. Look at this guy. Crazy. It is almost time to get to work though. Okay, with this, just 30-40 minutes of test writing, I have officially tested all the code I just added for the element system. So this is what I should have been doing before instead of doing the tests later. So now we're at about 60% total test coverage, which is a lot better than it was. So now I'm going to move on to adding some sort of visual indication that those element connections are active. Probably just like, I don't know, a line drawn between. I haven't really decided. I think I'm going to take some time to sketch out an idea of what that should look like. There are a lot of pieces to the elemental connection visuals that I had to figure out, like what it would look like, how it would communicate things to the player, what it would communicate to the player. I did some sketches in a notebook and came up with this star shape where each point is one of the 8 directions that another unit can be in. And then I would activate or deactivate each of these points based on which connections are active. I modeled the star as one solid piece in Blender, and then I split the edges to separate them out into individual objects so I can turn these on or off in Unity as needed. I started setting up my emission texture to have colors for each of the element types, but I think I need to redo some of these. They're not all clearly a color. Some of them just look white because of the brightness of the emission. And I also realized that the way I was keeping track of these elemental connections was by the power or the strength of the connection, not by the type. So I'll need to figure that out. I had also currently decided that units could have multiple element types. As they level up, they get more slots. But I don't even have the leveling system thought up, and I really designed this for only one element type. So maybe I'll add a limitation there. I definitely have some more thinking and design to do on this system, but this should get me by in the meantime as a visual I can use. Leftover rice-a-roni with beans and sausage for lunch. And what do I want to do? I've almost got the connection visuals done. There's quite a bit more that I need to do to hook them up, but I've got the model for it almost done. Do I want to chill and play games for a bit? I'm not sure. I was going to do a bonus stream around 3. It's 1 p.m. now, so I might try to get some work done and then do a nice little, I think I'll play Ooblets for bonus stream. Then it'll be dinner time, and then after that I can chill, I think. That sounds good. So I might just get right back into some game development. Maybe I'll watch some YouTube while I work this time instead of being so focused. After stream, it was time to have some dinner, and I wasn't feeling great. Not sick or anything, just feeling a bit listless. I had some rice with butter and cheese and sat around for a bit, and then the universe knew what I needed. It showed me a YouTube video for some cool editing techniques, and that inspired me to do some editing on this vlog. And I spent basically all night working on that, so you're welcome. Two kitties pouting because it's not lunchtime yet. Alright, just a little check-in. It's Saturday. It is still technically morning, though it's almost noon. I woke up at 6:15 and did a run at 7. It was a hard run, but actually I don't feel super physically tired. I'm just a little sleepy because I couldn't get to sleep on time. So I've been playing Prison Architect. I've been having a blast. I'm working on this School for Bad Mothers prison. Female prison with a huge parent cell block. And it's really taking shape. This might be the best prison I've ever architected. I do kind of feel like I should do something. I would like to dye my hair today. I was gonna try and do the overtone without bleaching my roots because my mirror that I used to see the back of my head broke. It just completely snapped. So bleaching my own roots is going to be really hard unless I get another one. And so I was just going to try to use the rose gold for brown hair and see if that looks good. In the past I've had a problem with it not really sticking on unbleached hair, and that's probably what's going to happen again. I just get so tired of bleaching. If I could, I would hire people to bleach my hair for me, but it's really expensive, and it's, obviously with the pandemic and everything, I haven't been wanting to go out and get my hair done. And all of that is a very long way to say I think I might dye my hair today, but I don't really want to. And I believe I mentioned, but it is Tyler and I's 12-year anniversary today. We are going to get sushi for dinner. He got me a gift. I showed it off, I think, earlier in the vlog, and I'm going to use it today. It's a mini keyboard. It's right here. Okay. But I haven't really had a chance to play with it yet, so I might do some of that and try to work on my game track. I've been trying to make a song to play. I was starting with, like, a track to play when you're planning your moves during the planning session, because I thought that might be easier to like conceptualize, because I know I want it to be kind of like staccato, like a clock ticking, but I just don't know if I have the musical talent to make this work. What I've been doing, and I'm getting like way off track here, this is really rambly, but what I've been doing is watching Shady Cicada, and he does these 10-minute song challenges. And obviously I'm never gonna write a song in 10 minutes like he does, not without like years of practice, but I've been looking at how he approaches the songwriting to see if I can maybe glean some process ideas, if that makes sense. And so I've been watching those. They're really good videos. They're very entertaining. And I want to sit down and sort of set a timer and be like, okay, for this amount of time, I'm going to work on a bass line. For this amount of time, I'm going to work on a melody, and just see what I come up with. It probably won't result in something great because I just don't have the experience behind it. But I think it might be fun. So I might do that tonight. Maybe while I'm eating sushi. I'm going to play a little bit more Prison Architect. At noon, I have to stop and feed the cats and take the pupper to the yard. And then I might switch and do something else. I'm not sure yet. I decided to dye my hair on Sunday instead, just not feeling it today. But I did play with my new MIDI keyboard. I did that composing challenge that I mentioned where I followed along with a 10-minute Shady Cicada video. But instead of like trying to copy the song, I would look at what he was trying to accomplish, pause the video, think through my own notes, my own instruments, my own sort of song structure, and I ended up with something really nice. It's a spooky track. That was the video's a 10-minute spooky game track. And I'll play a little bit of it here. I really like it. This is the first song I've made that I actually am happy with. We had our anniversary sushi. It was so good. And after dinner, I wasn't quite sure what to do, so I looked at my Notion tasks and decided I wanted to get more game work done. This is the last official week of my first 12-week year. So next week is meant to be a week off, which is kind of funny since I took this week off work and not next week. But since this is the last week I'm supposed to be doing 12-week year work, I want to get as much of this wrapped up as I can. So I tackled that element indicator, the visuals for the element system. I still haven't really finalized the look, but I'm going to get my temporary solution done. And the way I decided to do things is to calculate the elemental power for all the connections between a pair of units, and use that power number as a multiplier for the stat bonus, and just have one element per unit. I really got into it, and 2 hours later I have working visuals for the element system. Every time the units are repositioned or an element is changed, these visuals are refreshed just as the elemental power is recalculated. Now I think I'll do some knitting before I hit the hay. I think this will be the end of the bulk of the vlog, but I'll probably try to wrap things up tomorrow properly, so I will talk to you then. So here we are at the end of my week off, pretending to be a game developer, and it's bittersweet because I do like my job, but it was really nice to just do what I want to do for a week. Having all this extra time for my side projects has been lovely. So, what did I actually get done on my game project in the past week? A big part of it was testing and tweaking the AI system, which is really hard to demonstrate because it happens behind the scenes. You only really see it in the gameplay, and it's not a thing you can look at and say like, oh yep, there's that. So a big chunk of what I did this week was testing all the AI behaviors that I currently have, making sure that units are moving in the correct way, that their special abilities actually do what they're supposed to do, making sure that I have a way to quickly balance the AI stuff, like the amounts of damage and things like that. So feeling really good about that, but it took up, I think, like 2 full days almost of work time, and I don't have a lot to actually show you. So maybe not the best for vlog week, but it was necessary, and it turned out really well. I also made some minor changes to the visuals, so I moved the camera around a little bit. I made that sparkle shader, though it's not actually hooked up to anything in game. So the idea is that it will act as like a skin that you can unlock, and then you can have some of your units all sparkly, and I think that just will be a fun incentive to like maybe get an achievement or something. I'm not sure how you'll unlock it, but I want it to be unlockable. And I also finished most of the element system. So I had the ability to assign elements to a unit. So like a unit could be assigned like flame type or fire type or sea type, water type. I gave them funny names. I'm not sure if I'll stick with it, but I wanted it to be like a thing rather than like, you know what I mean? You could assign them before, but now assigning it actually does something, it changes these power values, elemental power values, that I'm going to use to increase damage, healing power, or health, depending on the element. So I talked a little bit about this already. I won't get too into detail, but basically what I got done was it now calculates those powers based on surrounding units and displays a little pointer next to the unit pointing in the direction of that link. So when you have like a whole team, there's going to be these links between them based on their elements. I also got a little bit more comfortable with music creation, which is related to game development, but it is its own thing. As I do all this stuff, I can sort of feel that I'm slowly getting more confident with the tools, and I'm learning how to sort of structure things, how to tackle a song. I still don't think I can just like bust out a game track like right now, but I feel like I'm getting closer every week, and that feels really good. Because if you remember an earlier vlog, I was pretty discouraged because things were going so poorly. And I feel like I'm getting a little bit better. I can see progress. Now, the critical question, if I could right now move into a job where I work for myself and do game development for myself, would I do it? And I think the answer is yes. I was not expecting this week to sort of convince me like, oh no, day job's way better. But I do think I'm like really far away from that point. But the reason why I would want to is it all comes down to freedom and sort of where pressure comes from. So I do currently have a job where I can take a break for lunch, I can take a break to do a run, I can stop and like put a load of dishes in or start some laundry, and it's not a big deal. No one cares that I'm away from my desk for 10 minutes. If I just need to clear my head, I can do that. It's not a problem. So I do have a good amount of freedom at my job currently. But working for myself just extends that freedom to everything. This also shifts the pressure, right? So there's still pressure, there's still a good amount of pressure, the same pressure you'd have with a day job where you need to make sure you're doing your work, you need to make sure that work is good, you need to make sure it's valuable work so that you can get paid for it. But it changes at a corporate job, the pressure comes from the company and from the people in the company outside of yourself who are making decisions about, pay, hiring, projects, things like that. So the pressure comes from an external place. When it's you and your projects and your things, the pressure is still there, but it's your pressure. And you can make changes to how you work to sort of address the pressure. At least that's what obviously I'm not doing this as a full-time job. I don't know for sure. But this is the impression that I get whenever I do take some time off to work on my own things. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I see it, is that working for myself gives me more control over what I prioritize, how well I do. That's kind of, we get into some fuzzy ground there because like you can work super hard and not make any money. That's a thing that happens all the time. But you can sort of change your behaviors to try and change your outcomes in a way that is more free than when you're working at a job where someone else is sort of deciding what you have to do. So in general, I would love to move into a full-time like indie game dev, content creator sort of position, but I am nowhere near close to that, and a lot of that is because of decisions I've made for myself. So I think I mentioned before, but I am currently the only income earner in our household, and owning a house is incredibly expensive, not because of the mortgage, which the mortgage is kind of expensive, but it's not the problem. So the problem is I have to pay for everything when things break. And there's no one else who's going to do anything about that except for me. And sometimes it's like, if I don't fix it, things are real bad. So, like when our hot water heater broke, if I didn't fix the hot water heater, we would not have hot water. This mold situation that just came up this week, the longer it takes me to get that cleaned up, get it fixed, the longer I and my family are breathing in mold spores. So, like, home ownership comes with this extra set of hidden surprise expenses that are usually very high. It's usually very expensive to do basically anything to a house. All of these things happen without warning, and they are, hundreds or thousands of dollars to fix. And what this means is that in order for a self-employed job to fit my lifestyle, I would need to be earning enough that I could handle those extra expenses. On top of sort of the everyday living, and on top of self-employment taxes, which are higher than if you were working for a company. So money is the big thing, and the only way to really get around this is to either sock away enough money that you can survive if your self-employment doesn't generate the income you need, or build it up over time on the side of a full-time job. And I'm kind of trying to do both of these things, but with the sheer amount of surprise, drastic expenses from the past couple years, it's been really hard. It's been really hard, but I'm working on it. And another thing I think this week showed is that it's not really easier to work for yourself, at least not for me. Like, I still had to wake up in the morning, think, what am I gonna do, commit to that work, and then build up the momentum to actually do it. Like I mentioned on Wednesday, I was feeling tired. I wasn't feeling it. And there's a point where you can indulge those feelings and just not do anything. But if that became a pattern, if this became something I did all the time, that would be reflected in my overall success, my overall income, the frequency with which I was able to put out content or finish games. So I thought it was interesting that even though I was really excited to get this work done, I had a plan, I knew what I was doing, there is still that level of, oh, I just don't want to do this. Oh, I just want to play video games all day. Oh, I just want to sit around and watch YouTube. It's still work. And I think that gets overshadowed sometimes by, very glamorous sort of vlogs. And I love the glamorous vlogs. I love the work from home, sort of everything is chill and fun and beautiful. I love that. And I'm not telling anyone that they shouldn't make vlogs like that, but I just think it can obscure the fact that it can be very hard to do. Mentally and physically, it is something you have to push for. So that's something to keep in mind. I hope that this video was, helpful, interesting, entertaining. I had a little bit of fun with the editing on this round. You've probably noticed I tend to learn a new technique and just use it everywhere because it's fun and exciting to me. But I had a lot of fun editing this one, and I just really wanted to explore this space of what would my life look like if I worked for myself? And this is kind of a fantasy version of that, like I mentioned, because I did take paid time off. I was getting, I didn't have to earn money from the work that I did this week. And I probably won't anytime soon. That's the nature of making these larger projects that take a year or more to finish, is that they don't make any money while you're working on them. So it was a little bit of a rosy view, but I think it was still really helpful for all of the reasons that I mentioned. So I'll be back soon with another video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.